Welcome to Too Much, Just Right. This is a space for women who've been told they're too much one too many times.
We are over it. We're not here to tone it down. We are here to amp it up.
We believe your too much is your magic.
So let's dive deep, get messy, heal out loud,
and be too much together. Hey, I'm Sara Perry, co-founder at the Full Circle Women's Collective, and I am your joy coach and life and soul strategist. And this is my beautiful business partner, Ruby Love.
Hi, I am Ruby Love, and I am also the co-founder at the Full Circle Women's Collective. I am your business visionary and marketing and SEO strategist. And we are so excited.
We're so excited.
Oh my God. Like, we have been talking about doing a podcast for a while now.
We're fucking pumped.
This is like my dream. It is literally my dream. I'm like, guys, I'm so close to my microphone because I really just want to be holding it.
The dream is to be really close to our microphones and say intense things.
I am Ruby Love, co-founder at the Full Circle Women's Collective. But yeah, so we just
on being a woman now in the patriarchy.
This week on Fuck the Patriarchy.
This is what we'll be doing on this podcast. So welcome.
Yeah.
There will be strategy.
Yes.
There will be moms complaining about being moms and moms sharing adorable stories about being moms.
Yes.
There will be a lot of women hyping up women because that's the thing that we love to do the most, the thing we are most excited to do.
A passion, some might say.
A lifestyle.
A lifestyle. Women need women in life and in business.
That's the tagline. We, let's just get right into our origin story. Let's get into it because that's what we were really tired of. We were really tired of being led, one, by not women, but we were tired of not being in leadership ourselves. We wanted to be leading ourselves in a new way because leadership starts with us, right? Leadership starts with our personal healing. It starts with saying my joy, my experience, how I feel matters, and I shouldn't have to sacrifice it for my family role, for my societal role, for my work, for my hustle, for my business, for my trauma, for whatever it is, that I actually get to love the life that I'm building and not compartmentalize myself. And having lots of conversations about all of those things where we went, this would be a really good podcast episode. I would want to listen to this. This is deep shit.
Yeah. I did all the things. I was an athlete, and then I went to college, and then I got my MBA, and then I went and took the job that I got paid less than I was deserved because I'm not I'm not even gonna say it because it's obvious when you look at me what I'm not. And I've spent the last 8 years working and knowing that I'm not getting paid what I deserve, but settling because I was like, oh, well, I get flexibility with my child. I get flexibility to be home. Well, I can't settle financially anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a conversation where Sara and I were recording previously for a summit that we did. And I was just like, oh my God, I get it. I'm not made to be an employee. The reason I'm not getting hired in these C-level positions, even though I'm already in a C-level position, the reason I'm not getting hired at these other companies is because I'm not meant to be an employee. I am meant to be a leader. I'm meant to be the CEO of a company. I'm meant to be the owner of a company. Like, I'm not meant to be someone's employee. And that's the end of the story. And that's part of what made me just dive into the Full Circle Women's Collective and be like, holy shit, this is it. This really is it. We get to help women. We get to help ourselves. We get to retire our husbands. We get to build generational wealth. And we get to do it our way and not the way that the patriarchal society has placed in front of us. You know what I mean? You have to work at 9 to 6 now it's really 7 to 7 every single day. You have to show up. You have to answer all your emails. You have to answer all your texts. You don't get to go on that walk that you want to go on. You can't take a meeting while you walk. All these things that are just not They're not aligned for me. They haven't been aligned for me ever in my life.
Mhm.
And I tried to fit into this box for so long.
Yeah.
And it's like, thank the universe that Sarah Perry was put into my life and that we decided to do a business arrangement together where we traded services. And then we were like, wait, what are we doing? Why aren't we doing this together?
Yes. Okay, yes, let's talk about that, because one thing I always have to insist on bringing up whenever I'm talking about our partnership is just how proud I am of our relationship, and how our relationship is the experience that we want to create for other women, because we have the partnership that we have, the collective exists because we were willing to sit in rooms and have hard conversations with each other, that to be authentic and recognize that this is an incredible woman that I get to work with. This is an incredible woman in my life that I want to know more and be able to be more real with and have a deeper relationship with. But we have to, like, talk about some things that might be hard for people to talk about in order to get to that next level. We had to, like, move through some bullshit that was partially because of our circumstances of, like, the roles that we were in the company that we were working with. But beyond that, it was just being able to actually, like, go deeper with each other. And so many people, and especially women, are not willing to do that with one another, or they don't know how, or that those relationships are just not as present in their life. And we have found through our relationship, and also just because we're such huge fans of women, empowering women, and just, like, women are so fucking incredible. Like, we know that women are going to save the world, but first we have to save ourselves. That's our mantra we keep coming back to. We wanted to be that space for other women. We wanted to have it because it's sacred. It's sacred when women get together and they are able to say the things that they can't say in other places in their lives for fear of judgment or backlash, or it's not allowed, or opposing truths. Like, if we've learned anything in motherhood, it's that, like, the extreme opposing truths are both present at the same time, and you're holding space for both of them. And, like, that is so much. Yeah, and just wanting to that's why we're a collective, is we wanted to create a community space for women to come as they are, bring their whole selves. Ruby and I have walked side by side during our early days of motherhood, and that's been a huge part of it, is that we were able to show up and talk about the struggles that we were having, or that we didn't sleep the night before, or whatever was up that day. And I am so grateful, because I think all the time about how easily we could have not had, like, those conversations and not had this relationship and not had this partnership. It's so easily, we could have so easily just been like, we're just going to be coworkers who, like, kind of get at each other sometimes.
Listen, y'all need to you need to understand our personalities, but I have to start with, if you're watching this video, it looks like I have overlined my lips, but I have not. I see the lovely, beautiful Nurse Jen at Ola Skin, and she's been doing something to flip my lip up, and now I'm getting a shadow behind my lip line from my lip being so lifted. So
Okay, so we're very happy for you, and no one was noticing.
thank you.
Beyond general gorgeousness.
I am hypercritical of myself, but I do want to, like, state something about mine and Sarah's personalities. There's one thing about me, and I'm not going to speak for Sarah on this, but I'm going to speak for me. I am very intense and I'm very direct. So oftentimes it can come off as judgmental, or like I'm not going to be able to receive harsh information. And so a lot of people are scared to talk to me. And one thing about my relationship with Sarah is, in my opinion, the same. And so there was this thing that happened where we were both like, oh, we can talk to each other about, like, hey, you made me feel like shit when you said this, or hey, I really didn't like how this came off. And it's like, oh God, I'm sorry. My bad. I'll be more aware of it. And that's part of, like, what has made our relationship so special. The best friendships in my life have been ones where someone could say, you hurt my feelings when you said this to me. And I, being someone who never has the intention to hurt someone ever, am like, oh my gosh, I can see why that happened. Let me be more aware of my words. And I really think that's, like, so important to announce in our origin story, because we are intense, confident. Like, I was a Division I athlete. I was a tennis player, so everything is about, like, me, 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 me. And Sarah was an actress, so everything was about me, 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 me.
What?
Yeah, who knew? And so it's just like, you have these two very individualized people. And the one thing that I said to Sarah is, this is the first time in my life despite college tennis, despite my teams, whatever, this is the first time in my life that I felt like I was on a team. This is the first time in my life that I felt like I had a teammate. And the what comes with that is I do feel like we create a space for other women to feel the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a lot of the feedback that we got in our summit is like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I actually felt like I could open up. Oh my God, you guys talked about things that I've never heard anyone talk about. Like, you know, I'm not gonna say it because we didn't give a heads up for what could happen in this episode, but postpartum depression, sobriety,
Mm-hmm.
lack of
Mental health
sex, or
challenges. Yeah.
having all sorts of challenges in your body after giving birth, like having challenges in work, like having challenges focusing. Like, there is nothing about us that is going to present as perfect because nothing is perfect. And we can't live like that anymore. We have to open the curtains. We
Mhm.
have to let the little dust particles fly around and the sunshine come in. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I think something that's going to come up a lot is how those standards and values have changed since we've become mothers. And Ruby and I like to say, on like kind of opposite ends of the millennial spectrum. I'm an elder millennial, and you're not an elder. But you're not a younger either. I don't know how you classify yourself, but we're
Well,
both millennials.
I was raised by Gen X, my mom's Gen X and my brother's Gen X. So that's part of why, like, well, identifies as Gen X. I think he's technically a millennial too, but like,
When I talk about that, the reason it's important for me to why I identify it and why I think it's important just in the context that we're talking about is we both very much grew up with the idea that like you do certain things, you check
Yes.
certain boxes, and
Yes.
then you were promised certain results.
yes.
And we
And
both
you didn't get them.
and we didn't get them.
My
And
brother got them.
well, and you were talking about your journey of like, I went to college, I did this and I did that, and very much walked that path as well. Didn't see myself represented on it, didn't feel aligned with it, didn't feel happy with it. And I was someone who from a very young age had the vision and the dream and the passion and the talent and the desire to be on stage, to be a performer. And that was like the one thing I wanted to do. And I followed that path, but it was constantly with feedback of like, that's not safe. You're not going to have money. You're not going to have this. You're not going to have that. It's going to be hard. And like, of course, that path comes with challenges, right? But like, my unique vision that it's the one thing I remember being aligned with at such and such an early age that never wavered for me. Like, it's so wild that I was constantly being told that because it didn't look like the path that was laid out, which really, like, now that I'm a parent, I can see from my parents' perspective, it's like, well, no, they just wanted me to be like safe and secure. And that wasn't a world that they were in. So they didn't know how to help me. But they knew that if I walked to this path that looked like college and working for a company and getting benefits and all of this stuff, that I would be okay. And I can completely understand that. And flash forward, I did that life, and I'm very proud of what I accomplished in it. And in all of my career, it ended up looking like a bunch of different jobs and gigs and contractor work to support my love, my passion, what I thought was my purpose in the world. And even to this day, like, I've never had that secure job working for a company where I've gotten benefits and a salary and like the package. Like, that's never been available to me. And so, but I never considered myself an entrepreneur until like a couple of years ago when I started my coaching company. Because again, that wasn't really a part of like starting your own business, sure, was happening, but like even in the last 10 years, that's changed so much, especially for millennials. So all that is to say that a big part of our mission and why we're so excited to be here is because we are finally embracing that not only is it okay to do it a different way and to trust ourselves and trust what feels aligned to us and our own intuition, but that is actually our superpower. That is actually what's going to make us successful. And if there's anything that I want to change about the narrative for my daughter is like in building that resilience and that self-knowledge and trust that it's like you are creating the roadmap for your life. And a lot, like, the world's going to have, including her, her dad and I, we're going to have a lot of ideas about what that should be, but only she knows and only she can find out along the way what that should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially for our generation and our mothers before us, right? Like we are one of the first generations who can really go, wait a minute, like I do have the option to do it differently. I can get a credit card on my own. I can start a business on my own. Like I always have to come back and be like, you are literally the first generation of women who are able to do this.
Yes. Yes.
What a fucking privilege and a responsibility.
Yes. Responsibility. Yes. And I think that's also, that's not acknowledged. I think if 15 years ago you said to me the patriarchy, I would have been like, that's an excuse. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have had the capacity to understand the way the patriarchy has inhibited the growth of women, especially women of color, but also men. And I do want to make a very important point. Yes, our name is the Full Circle Women's Collective, but we in no way hate men. We are both in love with our wonderful husbands. I have a son. My dad is literally my best friend. And oh my God, his growth is just so inspiring to me. My dad at 62 years old went to therapy for 2 years with 2 different therapists every single week. Okay.
Like my dad proudly know that we're here and we are the women that we are because of our
exactly.
And loving fathers.
Yeah. And I watched the patriarchy screw over my dad. My dad's very sensitive. Like I watched him get screwed over by it. I watched my husband get screwed over by it. I'm sure your husband gets screwed over by it. And I want to say that when we are talking about this, we are not hating on men. We are hating on the way that society has structured both men and women to perform, because it's a performative measure to say okay, yeah, you actually could not get a business loan until the 80s. That's a performative measure. That's to keep women controlled, but also it kept families down because women weren't able to go and succeed. Women are the leaders, and every single successful man on this planet will tell you that their woman is exactly why they are successful. It's like there is no if and but. My dad always says, if your mother, and my mom never worked, y'all, but if your mother wasn't there to keep my standards high, I would not be who I am.
Wow.
He was like, your mom's moral compass makes me have a moral compass.
Wow.
Because my dad's like, yeah, I would have done the cheap way, the easy way, the skeezy way. And my mom's like, absolutely not. No. Every washcloth is washed. You don't reuse it. You know what I mean? Down to something as little as that. So I do want to say, when we're talking about stuff like this, it is it's a whole societal issue. It's not just something that we think impacts women. And this isn't just for women. We hope that men listen to this because we do think that, one, you'll feel heard and seen, but 2, you'll also understand your wives more, or your girlfriends or your mothers or your sisters. You're going to understand why there's this fire that has been lit in us the last few years to really take this and run with it. And yes, women have been doing this. They've been bra burning and standing up to vote and everything else. Okay. I'm not taking away from women of the past because my grandmother was born without the right to vote. Okay. So, but what we're saying is there's a collective force of women right now that are saying, the world is not going the way it needs to be going, and we're going to turn that around, and we're going to do it together because we can't do it without each other. And the world has told us always that women are the problem. Women are the problem. Women are competitive. Even in our meetings that we've had with people, recording for our summit, it came up, oh my God, it's so nice to be in a space with women that's not competitive. And me and Sarah both what? What? Because I'm in love, absolutely in love with all of my friends. I am so in love with them. I worship them. I think that they are the most wonderful, amazing goddesses on the planet. I never want to be competitive with another woman. And again, that's the motherfucking patriarchy, y'all. They want us to think that we are being competitive with each other. There is no competition. Have you looked at women? There's no competition. Every single woman, and guys, I'm an artist, so I paint women's figures. Every single woman is so perfect and beautiful and abundant and it's the source of life. There is no competition. We're just so amazing and so abundant. And we want you to come to this podcast and walk away from it knowing that you can do whatever you want to do. That the entire universe literally sits in your lower abdomen. And again, 15 years ago, that would have made me barf. I would have been disgusting. What are you saying? But it's true. We create life. You cannot stop us.
I'm just letting it soak all in. I'm
Yeah,
s
your eyes look a little glossy.
yes, well, yeah, a sidebar, there's definitely gonna be tears multiple
We
times
cry a
on
lot.
every on every episode. I feel like I had a bunch of things I wanted to respond with, and now I just feel worshipped, and, like, that's the thing, is, like, you were like, "Oh, this is what I want people to walk away with." I want them to walk away, like, knowing their own power and, like, feeling your light get brighter. Like,
Mhm.
that is truly what I want. Anyone who is in this room with us, who's talking with us, who's working with us, who's in our community, I want you to feel your light being amplified,
Mhm.
because I truly believe like, I see myself as a light bringer. Like, that is my job in the world, is to shine bright and give others permission to do the same. And we do that by trusting ourselves, believing ourselves, seeing the best in ourselves and in other people, and reflecting that greatness back to them. And women do not get that enough, and we are the hardest on ourselves, right? And so if nothing else, if we can just be a space where we can reflect your light and your greatness back to you, so you walk away, like, as the queen says, you can't wear a crown with your head down. So if you walk away, then
Yeah.
we really have done our job.
Yes.
Um, and you touched on so many beautiful things, and I'm really happy that you, like, gave that disclaimer of, like, this messaging is for men too, and we see your pain and suffering too. It is a broken system for all of us, and as you pointed out, like, every man who's being honest with himself recognizes that there is a woman in his life who is leading it. Oh, now now
Now
it's
I
your
cry.
turn. Now it's your turn. We are the leaders of our lives. We're the leaders of our families, of our households, in our communities. And so I know now that's the thing, is you're
No.
crying. I'm
No,
like,
I think of my husband and, my husband, he is a very large, dark-skinned black man with locks, like, halfway down his back, and, like, I watch people assume the worst of him, like, all the time, and it's like that's the patriarchy. There's a caste system where it's, like, men, white men, brown men, black men, women, white women, brown women, black women. You know what I mean? There's a caste system, y'all. You have to understand caste to understand racism and sexism, the patriarchy, all of it, okay? And I just think about him, and I think about the way that he plays with our son, and I think about how he allows my son to have tea parties with him, and he allows my son to breastfeed his baby, and he allows my son to pretend breastfeed his baby on him, like, on his dada, and, like, he's doing so much to break these patterns of things that were never allowed in him. He never got to be safe. He never got to be sad. He never got to be gentle. He never got to cry. He never got to express anything except for anger. And while I deeply relate to that because everything was suppressed in me until I became a grown woman, like it's crazy. As a teenager, anger was the only feeling allowed. And then as a woman, guess what? You can't be angry. You can't be loud. Like, you gotta only cry. And if you cry, you're a crybaby. But again, I watched the same thing happen to my husband, and no one talks about it. And it does make me really emotional because we're also the first people I feel like really talking about, not me and Sarah, the first people, this generation of people really talking about what it feels like to suppress every single thing that you have and still be told to, like, smile. And they're like, "You can take this pill, or you can go to therapy, or you can do this, or you can do that." But what they're not letting us do is be humans. They're not letting us yell, they're not letting us run, they're not letting us jump, they're not letting us express tears of joy or tears of sorrow, like and it's truly the patriarchy. And when we're talking about this podcast, we're talking about how to align to yourself so that you can professionally soar. Because you can't keep living I can't keep living the way I've been living. I can't keep working 12 hours a day, all these part-time jobs where I have my clients and freelancing, then my full-time job, trying to, like, be in a box and, like, looking a certain way, talking a certain way, like, I I can't do it, and I can't let anyone around me do it anymore. I can't let my husband do it. I can't let Sarah do it. I can't let myself do it. I can't let my mom or my dad do it. My dad said to me, he was like, "I can't speak out about what's going on in the world because I might lose my clients." I said, "Fuck your clients, Dad. And guess what? My dad is posting about Palestine and Gaza and racism every single day. And he's like, no one likes me anymore. I was like, well, I love you and I'm really proud of you. Oh, no, now I'm going to cry. Like,
We should
that's that's what we want. That's what we want women to feel. You can
all be able to
speak
be who
up.
we are in the world
Yes.
and
You
not
can
be afraid.
you can show up exactly as you are, and your clients are going to come to you.
Mhm.
Your people are going to come to you. Your friends are going to come to you. Your spouse is going to come to you. Whoever you are and whoever you're growing into, those are who your people are. They're going to find you. Show up as you are.
Mhm.
Be ugly when you're ugly. Be happy when you're happy. Be sad when you're sad. You can be a real person and show up authentically and be successful. You do not have to be this picture that they've painted for you. You do not have to be a blonde hair, blue-eyed woman with lip filler and fake boobs and this and that to be successful. And I'm sorry, like there's nothing wrong with being blonde hair, blue-eyed, having lip filler and fake boobs because I think you look hot too. But I'm just saying, as a girl who grew up with a Barbie mom, I always compared myself to that. And I was always like, why don't I look like Barbie? I didn't want to be Teresa Barbie. I'm not even Teresa Barbie, but I had to be Teresa Barbie, okay? So that's where that's coming from.
If you are afraid that the people in your life are going to walk away from you or not like you because you're going to start being a more authentic version of yourself, you're right.
Let them go.
Let them, because they weren't actually your people in the first place. You will lose clients. You will lose people. And that should change. Because if the people in your life and the people that you're serving don't reflect your authentic self, if your insides are not matching your outsides, which Glennon Doyle defines as integrity, and I love that description, if you are living a life where your insides don't match your outsides, then that is an invitation to shift. That is an invitation to do that work. It is all about alignment 1st.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your wholeness is your business strategy. You bringing the whole of who you are is the secret sauce.
Yes.
You doing the personal development work, the personal growth work of coming home to yourself. Because every time you decide to do something because of what people are going to think or fear of judgment or whatever it might be, it is a small abandonment, an abandonment of yourself. And the more that we do that, that energy, it just like it calcifies and it builds inside of us. And we can't bullshit ourselves. There's always going to be a part of you that knows, oh, you abandon us, you abandon us, you abandon us. And my journey with that and my experience with that is eventually that pain of abandoning myself and being someone different in the world than like I knew in my heart and soul I could be, that I had the capacity to be, that I wanted to be, but not having the courage and the tools to live as that person yet. That gap just got so big and so painful that it was almost insurmountable. I almost didn't recognize myself anymore.
Yes.
And what was I doing to fill that gap, to fill that pain, to escape that? I was getting high every day. I was drinking. I was surrounded by toxic people in toxic environments that I was trying to fit into because we're all humans and we want to belong and survive. I was trying to get my worthiness by booking roles and by my looks and literally trying to get the applause to feel validated. I was doing all of these things outside of myself that were like the embodiment of not loving and accepting myself. And then at the end of every day and during a lot of just the day, I was choosing to disconnect from myself because I just wanted to get high, to not deal with it, not deal with it, not deal with it. And it wasn't until I married my best friend and went, oh shit, it's not just me anymore. I don't think I deserve the best yet, but I know that he fucking does.
Oh,
I don't.
no, you're gonna really make me cry. Oh no. We accept the love we think we deserve. Like, oh God.
He sees the best in me, so it must be there. I want to be that version of myself. I don't believe that I deserve it yet, but he does. And I will, like, he is my ride or die. So I'm going to figure out a way because I don't want to lose that. I will figure out a way. And that's what gave me the courage. I borrowed his belief until I built enough of my own. And eventually I did. And now I know that self-love, that alignment, the cool thing is once you have that, once you start on that journey, you can't bullshit yourself in the same way anymore. Once you start to know yourself, you can't unknow it. And then you start to see all the places in your life that are no longer in alignment with that new version of yourself. And becoming a mother, birthing a child, becoming a parent is a whole other version of that. Parts of it you didn't even choose, but guess what? This is your life now.
I would say most of it you didn't choose.
You didn't know it was coming. You didn't choose it. I mean, I talk about this all the time with folks around sobriety. It's like everyone gets sober because they know they need to stop something. They know that they need to stop drinking. They need to stop smoking, like whatever it is. They know that they need to stop a thing. But what recovery and true sobriety is actually about is starting something new. And nobody gets sober because they're like, ooh, I want to start a new life. No, that's why people don't want to get sober. They're like, no. I want to stay over here with my coping mechanism that, works fine. Just forget all that pain that it's causing. I'm just gonna stay right over here.
Yeah.
And so no, but that is actually where the growth is when you start to live your life in a new way. And so similarly with becoming a parent, we've talked about this so much of like, not many people who have kids decide that they want to be a parent. They decide to have a kid. And there is a difference between having a kid and choosing and deciding and committing yourself to being a parent. Like it's your passion. Like I want to be really good at being a parent. Like this is the most important thing in my life. That is not
the hardest. It's the hardest.
Most people don't when they have a baby, when they get pregnant, they're not like, ooh, I want to be a parent. It's I want to have a baby, or we're having a baby. And recognizing that we are both very blessed that we chose to get pregnant, we chose to have a child. Like everyone has a myriad of challenges, and we both had faced our own challenges as well, which I'm sure we will talk a lot about. But the point that I want to make here is that it is an upending of everything in your life. And that has certainly been a huge pivot point for Ruby and I to move in this direction, because we have a very clear marker of like, we can't go back. There's no going back to how I did life before. My values are completely different. I am absolutely not willing. I will not tolerate sacrificing time with my toddler that I'm never going to get back. Like I'm not going to go to a job from 9 to 5. No. I'm not going to have to show up to work and pretend and mask that I'm not a parent, and that literally like my heart is walking outside of my body and I'm just here like talking about like, no.
Wait.
Don't tell me. That's one of our favorite podcasts. Wait. Don't tell me. Can we just drop the names of some of our favorite podcasts so then maybe they'll connect us? We'll just casually drop them in there.
Just name
Amy Poehler, I'm a good hang. Okay,
I want to say people think that mothers are weak. They will not hire you. They will not take you seriously. They will not think you're able to show up or build or connect in the way that someone who does not have a uterus or a child can. And I want to say that having a child has made me become a version of myself that I did not know was possible. Because I don't get to be a piece of shit anymore. I just don't get to be a piece of shit. I am a married woman with a son. I, for lack of better words, refuse to become a stereotype in my community. I refuse to let my son be a stereotype. My husband refuses to let our son be a stereotype. So every single day you have two extremely traumatized, wounded adults having to choose to stay together when everything in the world wants you to be apart, just so that we can raise someone who isn't a piece of shit, truly. And the amount of pressure that comes from that pressure makes diamonds. The ways that you look inward after becoming a mother, the ways you look at your marriage after becoming a parent, if you're on this journey, there's a lot of people who are going to hear this and be like, girl, you don't understand my situation. No, girl, you don't understand my situation. I left my husband. Okay, we were getting into it. It was embarrassing. Our kids saw things that he should never see. I left. I went across the country to stay with my parents. We got in therapy. We figured our shit out. So if you ever think that, oh, I just have a good man and he just stays, no, we both chose to work on this together. Because we both looked at our lives. I grew up with two parents, and I am obsessed with my dad and I'm obsessed with my mom, and I'm up both their buttholes all the time. He did not grow up with his father. And he has to make this insanely conscious choice every day to be someone that he never knew. So if you think that being a mother makes you weaker or being a father makes you weaker, it gives you an amount of strength that is not comparable, because not only will you fight a bear for your child, you'll fight society for your child. You'll
Ooh.
fight yourself for your child. Like, again, you have to know the power that's inside of you in order to take this leap. And I'm telling you, it's there. Whether you know it's there or not, you just got to wake it up. In gymnastics every day, they do, every time we go, they say, wake up the floor. And then they beat on the floor and they're like, oh, he's grumpy. Sorry for waking you up, floor, but it's time to get up. All right, that's yourself. You're stressed,
No
you're
one's
grumpy,
coming
you're
for you.
tired.
You gotta do it. You gotta
just
do
gotta
it.
do it. It's okay. You gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. And if you are in that place, or you're even just like a drop of water is going into that pool inside your body of like, I'm ready to go to the next step, this is the place for you.
This is your invite. This is
Yeah. And I want to wrap up this first episode with the question that Sara asked me that changed my life. And I say it all the time when I talk to people now, even my own mom. And I don't want to cry, but who were you before the world told you who you needed to be?
Can you remember? Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be?
I remember a little girl running around with just pearl necklace and cowboy boots on in my front yard making mud putties. Okay. Screaming at the top of my lungs, singing everything, running out to everyone and saying, you want to be my friend? You want to play with me? And I remember when she left, when I got told no too many times to, do you want to be my friend? Because I grew up in the South, so that was fun. And I want to leave y'all with that question, because if you don't listen to another episode and you don't come back next week for us, I want you to take that question and ask yourself that question every single day, so that every single day you finally discover who that person was, or every single day you're reminded that that person is inside of you and you're living for, ooh, no, here I go again. You're living for her. You made it all this way for her. Like, how beautiful is that?
And she's calling you home. She's the one who is going to light that way for you. You've been trudging ahead for a long time, feeling like you're alone and like you're not good enough and that you're not there yet and you should be further along. But all of those past versions of you, especially that young one, is the reflection of who you came into this world to be. That's why it's important to remember them, because it is your true essence. And that essence is still with you no matter what might be covering it up, whether what pain, fear, experiences, shame. She is there and she is calling you home, and she doesn't want you to leave her behind. That was the turning point for me when I really started talking to her. She didn't want to be left behind anymore, because that part of you is also the warrior. Like,
you're fucking me up, Sara. You're fucking me up.
What we do around here. Pour love into you.
You know what I say to my son?
Bring on the feels.
Every single day when I'm snuggling my son, I say to him, everything you have is already inside, or everything you need is already inside of you. Everything you need is already inside of you. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. Whatever you need, you already have it. And I'd say it to him every day. And it's probably like more like a message to myself than to him right now.
I'm going to start putting that into practice. Oh my gosh, say it again.
Everything you need is already inside of you. You are already who you need to be. You are enough just as you are. Everything that is meant to be is already yours. And it's every day. And it's like, just say it to yourself. Say that, who were you before the world told you, or can you remember who you were before the world told you who to be? Every day. And,
get a picture out of that version of you. That's one of my
look at that little baby.
Start that conversation. Yeah. What did she want? What were her dreams? What were her visions? What made her light up?
I would have been little me's best friend. I would have been like, oh my God, you're so cool.
Don't let anyone tell you that you're too much. You are just right sized.
Oh,
Keep being big, little girl.
oh.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And why anyone that's listening, like Ruby said, let this be the little drop in that bucket that's encouraging you to come home to yourself, that this is your permission, your invitation for whatever's been calling you forward. It can, like, no act of self-love is too small. That calling is on your heart for a reason, whatever it might be. And it's not there by accident. So let this be that spark for you. And let's tell them before we go why they should come back, what they're going to get more of.
All right, y'all. Not every episode is going to be emotional, but it's also going to be emotional. So
never not going to be feels
yeah,
personal growth without getting into it.
Exactly. And you cannot grow your business without first growing yourself. So each week we're going to be discussing topics that are around personal development as well as business growth. So one of the biggest topics that I talk about with my clients is aligning yourself to your messaging, to your SEO and marketing. So let me give a really quick example. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I have a queer women-owned med spa that I do their marketing and biz dev for. They were worried about announcing that they're queer women-owned because they didn't want to deter Trump supporters. All right, well, y'all, do you want Trump supporters? No, you don't. All right, so let's align your messaging to what you want. You want to create an inclusive space for people of color and queer people. So that's your messaging. Guess what? They are now getting only people of color and queer people coming to them, and they're getting clients. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that's what you're going to get. You're going to get alignment for self, alignment for messaging, alignment for vision, and then you're going to get the growth that comes with it. You're going to get the business development. Sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
Oh, not at all. Everything that we talk about comes back to how does it feel? We both are big in somatics, and everything is about the experience that you're having. How does it feel? Does it feel true to you? Does it feel aligned to you? And everything that I do in my coaching and in this work here is about being joy-centered. I believe that joy gets to be our top priority, that it is your compass for how you build your life and your business, because no goal or dream is worth it if you did not get to literally enjoy the ride. And also, you're not going to know how to enjoy whatever you accomplish on the other side because you're not building that muscle along the way. And especially for women, so many of us, we're just we're not celebrating our wins. We're not allowed to brag on ourselves. I think that's definitely going to be one of our segments.
Oh, yeah.
Our brag of the week, and not a humble one. We're not out here trying to be polite, trying to be humble. We're out here celebrating ourselves. And so everything, we get to find that joy and find that in the process now, because that is actually the point. We're not promised tomorrow. We need to find that light and find that purpose in what we're doing here. And the other piece is we are all about giving you practical, actionable tools and strategies. Yes, we are going to go deep. We are going to talk about our lives, share our stories, give you that deep feeling experience and insight from what we've learned and from our community. But we really want you to walk away with practical tools and strategies as well that you can start implementing in your life and business. And we're going to invite you into ways to do that with us and to do it on your own through listening to this podcast. So you're going to get both both the woo-woo and the practical, shall we say, if we want to really, really simplify it. Whoop, whoop.
I am a little bit crunchy and a little bit twerky, so we like all of it around here.
Crunchy and a little bit turkey. Well, I think that's the perfect sign off right there.
Sarah, I want you to end with say the question. Say the question.
Can you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be? Because guess what, baby? That's who you are.
Oh, no, I'm going to cry. So you say it and I cry. Y'all, we'll see you next week. And we love you. We are so grateful for you. We are so excited that you're here. And we just we can't wait to talk to you and have you a part of our community more. And yeah.
We're the women in your corner. We're not going anywhere. We see you.
The Full Circle Women's Collective out.
Mic drop. Hey, Full Circle women. Thank you so much for listening to Too Much, Just Right. We know your energy is really precious, so thank you for sharing it with us. We create these episodes to fuel and inspire you and hope that today's episode did just that. If you felt seen, heard, and understood, or laughed and cried during the conversation today, please share with us what landed for you at Hey Full Circle Women on Instagram, and share this episode with a friend who really needs to hear it. We'd love for you to follow the podcast and leave us a review if you're feeling moved to. You can learn more about our community for women leading women in business and in life at heyfullcircle.com. And never forget, your too much is your magic, and it's just right.